I'm delighted to welcome you to the 2011 Fall Address, and I'm honored to introduce our President, Renu Khator. The Fall Address is a tradition that began in 2009. It provides President Khator with the opportunity to share with us, gathered here as a community of faculty and staff, the highlights of the past year and her vision for the university's future. Last year, President Khator outlined the pathway to Tier 1 and the strategic priorities to take us there. This year, she will share with us the progress we've made, all the good news that has come our way at the national level, and what steps we need to take to accomplish even greater things. From my perspective as Faculty Senate President, it has truly been an honor to watch the President shape the university. She has brought us increased recognition in all realms, local, national, and international. She does so by being a constant crusader for the university, taking every opportunity to let the world know of our many strengths. She is absolutely relentless in her expectations of greatness on both the academic and the administrative sides of the university life. This is the approach that is transforming our university and should make all of us proud to be here at this exciting time. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome to the podium our President, Renu Khator.
Thank you so much. I should be standing in your honor. Well, good morning. Thank you so much, Dr. McHenry, for your very kind introduction. Thank you, all of you, for joining me today in this beautiful Opera House, home of one of the best college music programs in the nation. And how about a big hand for the Blues Static Quartet? Great performance. At the conclusion of this address, the internationally acclaimed Morse School of Music Concert Chorale will perform for us, so please stay and enjoy that performance. Let me begin by thanking the members of our Board of Regents whose vision, direction, and support makes it possible for us to dream big and achieve big. With us today, many board members are here. I'd like to request that they please stand as I call their names so you all can see them and appreciate their presence here. Board Chair, Nelda Blair. Board Secretary, Jarvis Hollingsworth. Regent Nandita Berry. Regent Tamisha Glover Harris. Regent Jacob Monty. And a very special welcome to our new regents, whom you are meeting for the first time, Regent Spencer Armour III, Regent Roger Welder, Regent Welcome W. Wilson Jr., Our board vice chair, Mika Mosbacher, and Regent Tillman Fertitta were unable to be here, but we do thank them for all of their guidance. Also among us today are two former board chairs. We give tribute to them today for leading the charge on Tier 1 and getting it done. Immediate past chair of the board, Carol Robertson-Ray. And former chair of the board and chairman of the UH Tier 1 campaign, Welcome W. Wilson Sr. Thank you all for being here. In 2027, the University of Houston will celebrate its 100th birthday. A history of the university will be written that day, a chronicle of university's growth and successes through the decades. Without a doubt, There will be a chapter dedicated to one particular year, 2011, the year when the University of Houston planted its red banner on the national academic scene. We have always been nationally recognized for individual programs, whether creative writing or chemical engineering or hotel restaurant management program or social work. It was in January of this year, for the very first time, we received the top recognition for the university as a whole from the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching. This recognition made us the third nationally competitive Tier 1 public research university in the state of Texas. Let me remind you that there are some 4,800 colleges and universities in the United States. Only 108 are placed in this top tier list. Congratulations, we did it. Just 2 months after Carnegie, we received another spectacular endorsement, and this time from the Princeton Review, when it added the University of Houston to its list of 376 best colleges in America. This ranking is based on student surveys, which proves that our students know they are getting one of the best educational experiences anywhere, and they are not shy to tell about it to everyone. I would like to ask Mr. Michael Harding, President of the Student Government Association, Mr. Craig Premji, Vice President, and all SGA senators who are present to please stand. Thank you for your energy and positive leadership. Thank you. Now fast forward to May, when we received more good news, and this time from the top American research universities, or TARU. This ranking measures the level of research strength and productivity in universities, and the University of Houston made the top 50 list on 3 measures. If it sounds easy, consider this. Only 57 public universities in the nation have 3 or more qualifying measures on the TARU list. Quite an accomplishment for us. Yet another national recognition came in July from the Chronicle of Higher Education, when they declared the University of Houston as one of the nation's great colleges to work for. The University of Houston now joins 54 universities nationwide on this very prestigious list. We received recognition for our diversity, collaborative governance, teaching environment, and appreciation for one another. Since it is the hard work of our faculty and staff that brought this recognition to us, I would like to ask the Faculty Senate President, Dr. Monica McHenry, President-elect Dr. Dmitry Litvinow, and Staff Council President Ms. Carol Barr and President-elect Elsie Myers to please accept our appreciation on behalf of all faculty and staff. Would you please stand? The purpose of my address today is to measure our progress, celebrate our achievements, outline our challenges, and reaffirm our goals. There is no better tool to do that than the progress report card that our Board of Regents approved 3 years ago. And this was approved as a measure of self-assessment and public accountability. Student access and success is the most critical area of performance, and we continue to make huge strides. This year, the enrollment is 39,825, an all-time high. The freshman average SAT is 1,114, an all-time high. The Honors College has the largest class ever with the average freshman SAT of 1,303, an all-time high. 31% of our freshmen rank in the top 10%, and 55% rank in the top 20% of their high school class, again an all-time high. 46 national merit scholars and 80 Tier 1 scholars are among our students. 81% of freshmen returned as sophomores, an all-time high. Nearly $200 million have been distributed to students as financial aid, more help than ever before. And finally, students are more proud to be Cougars than ever. At least that's what those loud pep rallies tell me. I hope you agree that our Office of Admissions and the orientation staff have done an outstanding job in raising the bar. Would you please help me recognize them? Would you please stand to be recognized? As important as student access is, there is something even more important, and that is student success. Yes, we have more students than ever, and yes, we are graduating more students than ever, but are we graduating them on time with as small a debt burden as possible and with the skills that they will need to succeed and lead this world? 2 years ago, we started to work on a 9-point plan to enhance our 6-year graduation rate. One of the initiatives was to create a residential environment on campus, and we have made tremendous progress in that area. We look forward to the leadership of our new Vice President for Student Affairs, Dr. Richard Walker, to help create this Tier 1 learning and living environment on campus. Richard, would you please stand? Welcome to the U of H. You have a lot riding on your shoulders. Today we have 6,000 beds on campus, and the Board of Regents have approved an additional bed capacity of 2,000, bringing our total to 8,000 by 2013. Today we are the 4th largest public residential university in Texas, and with the additional capacity, we will surpass every school but one. But campus housing is not just a place to rest your head. It is about bonding, learning, and graduating. Just a few weeks ago, we welcomed members of the class of 2015. Hundreds of students, faculty, and staff volunteers, calling themselves Cougar Movers, came out in 100-plus-degree temperature to unload boxes, to get students settled, to direct traffic. This is what I call the culture of student success. Thank you, Cougar Movers. We appreciate all your work. Another initiative was to have exciting and relevant educational programs. Our petroleum engineering is one of many programs that speak of relevancy and excitement. It started in 2009 with only 20 students. The program has grown to 224 students, has received $11.5 million from the industry and $1 million in private support. It is gaining national recognition for its very unique curriculum, which is, by the way, designed by the faculty and the industry together. Similarly, our partnership with Texas Medical Center has added other additional opportunities for students. A dual degree program with the University of Texas Houston School of Nursing is one such program. 25% of seats in each entering nursing class are reserved for University of Houston students. A similar program with the medical school is also in the works. Yet another initiative was to align the admissions standards for the University of Houston. Our admissions standards will change next year, and then again in 2014, making the University of Houston consistent with other Tier 1 universities across the state and the nation. You may ask, will this limit access to University of Houston? Will this adversely impact our commitment to closing the education gap in the state? Let me remind you, research indicates that higher expectations inspire people to work harder and achieve greater, as long as they have the necessary tools to do so. The focus has to be on offering the necessary tools and not on lowering the expectations, because as we all know, these students, after graduating, will face a world that is increasingly competitive. And it is competitive from the best and the brightest in the world. And in this competitive world, there are no excuses. Keeping students and their success at heart, we have expanded our toolkit. To guide students, we have placed our advisors in community colleges. To reduce cost and time to degree, we have identified courses that offer college credits to high school students. To ensure that money is not an issue, we are offering free education to students from low-income families. The result is that we are the second most diverse research university in the nation, and we rank number 12th in the nation from graduating students with the least amount of debt. Our 9-point plan has put us on the right track. Retention and graduation rates have increased, but they still lag behind the national and state averages. According to the US News and World Report, and based on our freshman profile, our graduation rate should be 53%, but it is only 46%. This 7% gap is sufficient to keep us from getting into the Tier 1 of US News and World Report ranking. And let's be honest, this 7% gap is not because of who we admit. It's because of what happens to students after we admit them. If we want to be a credible institution, if we want to gain credibility as a Tier 1 university, we must increase our graduation rate to 53% as soon as possible. With proper attention, we can achieve our goal of student success. We have done it in athletics. This spring, our student athletes had the highest GPA ever recorded in the history of the university. They passed, They passed 13.7 credit hours per semester, again a record. Their federal graduation rate is 52% higher than ever. And they are doing it while excelling on the field, winning conference championships and regional and national titles. And yes, indeed, being 5-0 in football. It is interesting to note that our athletics program was ranked number 6 in the nation for integration of best academic practices in athletics by the Coalition of Intercollegiate Athletics. May I recognize Maria Peden and the Student Athlete Academic Services staff for their outstanding work. Would you please stand? Going forward, I ask that student success, particularly increasing the graduation rate, continues to be our no-excuse priority. We must continue to focus on student success inside and outside of the classroom, and we must do so wholeheartedly. Now, as we turn to research and discovery, let me turn to that one, which is another area of performance in our progress card. I would like to welcome our new leader, Vice President for Research and Technology Transfer, Dr. Ratindra Bose, for carrying another very important responsibility in the university. Would you please stand, Roth? In research, I have 3 news items to share with you. The great news item, the great one, the promising one, and then the surprising one. So the great news is that we are not just a Carnegie-ranked Tier 1 university, but that we are comfortably in that group. The slide shows 2 charts depicting our placement on the Carnegie classification in 2005 and 2010. Universities with blue dots are Tier 1 universities. And as you can see, the University of Houston's move in 5 years has been significant. We must keep and increase our lead in this group in preparation for the next round of reclassification by Carnegie. It is not a given deal. It is not a done deal. We have to continue to work very, very hard. The promising news is that we did equally well in the report published by the Top American Research Universities, or TARU. Each year, TARU publishes a list of universities ranked in the top 25 and the top 50. The University of Houston made the top 50 list by placing 3 of the 9 required measures in the top 50 among public universities nationwide. As you can see, 2 additional measures are at the cusp of breaking that top 50 threshold. 10 years ago, the University of Houston ranked among the top 50 for having placed 3 of its 9 measures that time as well. However, in 2008, TARU raised its minimum qualifying bar and the University of Houston fell from the list entirely. In 2009, we got back on the list with 1 measure in the top 50. Last year, we continued our progress by placing 3 measures in the top 50. Going forward, our goal is to place 5 of the 9 measures in top 50 with at least 1 of those 5 in the top 25. This will give us the sustained performance and sustained excellence that we seek. This year, we lost a valued faculty member, Dr. Neil Amundsen, who was a member of 2 national academies. Replacing such a talent is never possible, but to build on his legacy, we added 3 new members of the national academies to our roster. Dr. John Lee, the world's foremost petroleum engineer, joined us from Texas A&M. Professor Joseph Calasso, one of the leading structural engineer of the century, teaches in the Gerald D. Hines College of Architecture. And finally, Dr. Benton Baugh, an accomplished engineer in Houston, has chosen to affiliate himself with a winner, the University of Houston, his alma mater. Many of our faculty received national honors and recognitions this year. Let me point out 2 as examples. Professor Rebecca Lee received a Fulbright Fellowship to Mexico, and as expected, she is in Mexico. Dr. Vasily Lubchenko received a Sloan Research Fellowship. Just this award alone will be an admirable act in itself. But consider the fact that this is his 3rd national award in 3 years. What a tremendous role model for all of us. Professor Lubchenko, would you please rise and be recognized? I know you're here. Now, as promised, the surprising news. And this news comes from the least talked about area, and that is technology transfer. It is good to make a new discovery. It is better to put that discovery into use. But it is best when that discovery starts to bring revenue that we can reinvest in having more new discoveries. The University of Houston has become a leader in the state and the nation for licensing income. In 2008, the University of Houston received $1.1 million in royalty and licensing income. This amount increased to approximately $9 million in 2011. 5 researchers are responsible for most of this revenue. Professors Cohn and Chow from the College of Pharmacy, Professors Chu and Friendlich from NSM, and Professor Salvamanikam from the Cullen College of Engineering. I know the Drs. Chow and Chu are here. Would you please stand and let us recognize you? Of course, these technologies were licensed many years ago. Nonetheless, their work and their effort to license the technology inspires us to aggressively license new technologies and make them a priority for the University of Houston. Our faculty are working harder than ever. They wrote $423 million worth of proposals to federal agencies this year, which is a 15% increase in just 1 year alone. Our federal research expenditures also increased by 4% to $64 million, which gives the University of Houston its highest expenditure figure ever. As wonderful as it is to brag about research grants and IP revenue, it is even more important to remember that not all wonderful research is quantifiable in numbers. Our professors in the humanities, the social sciences, and professional disciplines engage in cutting-edge research that advances the boundaries of knowledge each and every day. Their impact is felt, not counted. As an example, think about this. How meaningful medicine could be if we could understand the different ways in which ethnic communities respond to diseases and their treatment. Dr. Barbara Evans, a nationally known faculty member in the UH Law Center, and Dr. Jaron St. Onge in the Department of Sociology study health disparity and health human behaviors. Without their work, millions of dollars is spent on discovering drugs cannot serve the people that they want to serve. Lastly, quality graduate and specialty programs are critical to any research university, and we have a good number of them winning national awards. Our law center has distinguished itself in placing 3 of its programs in the top 10 nationwide. Before I leave this subject, let me congratulate our undergraduate entrepreneurship program for having ranked #1 in the nation 2nd year in a row and 3 years in last 5 years. I know Dr. Ramchand, the Dean of Bauer College is here. Would you please stand and be recognized? The University of Houston is the only university in the UH system to offer doctoral programs. These programs allow us to prepare educators of tomorrow, and we take this responsibility very seriously. With the help of Houston Endowment's $5 million grant, our goal is to provide better support to these students and increase the annual number of PhDs granted by the university by 50%, from 200 per year to 300 per year. Going forward, we'll continue to strengthen our research capacity and graduate training. This will require strategic investments, but it will also require changing the institutional culture to one that is accountable and supportive of true excellence. This brings us to the issue of resources. We all know that public universities faced a very rough legislative session this year. Our general revenue appropriation from the state was slashed by almost $70 million. And even though tuition was increased, it was not enough to make up for the reduction. We balanced the budget by creating operational efficiencies, generating additional revenues, reducing the workforce, and freezing faculty staff raises. Consequently, our per credit hour production cost reduced by 5%. Unfortunately, budget difficulties are not over. Even the most optimists predict that the state budget will see another very serious shortfall in 2013. Our student success and Tier 1 goals are non-negotiable. So the only way to succeed in the future for us is to embrace a new business model, a model that awards performance, promotes excellence, encourages innovation, and diversifies revenue. At this time, when we have great momentum, we cannot afford to let our talent leave for greener pastures, either nationally or internationally. Therefore, this year, I am committed to faculty staff raises. However, they will be based on a strict evaluation and meritorious performance. We will continue to make focused investment in research. Thanks to your effort, the efforts of our board, and the support of our legislative delegation, we have current and new state funding of more than $40 million for the new biennium, geared solely toward research. We will use these funds wisely and strategically to strengthen our research capacity. In these times of uncertain state support, private giving is critical to maintaining the momentum. This year, we raised $75 million. And if you add $30 million of committed but not yet booked donations toward the stadium project, we surpassed the $100 million mark. Going forward, the goal is to build a sustainable annual fundraising portfolio of $100 million a year. And in order to do so, we will need a robust, organized group of volunteers. Creating such a network in preparation for launching a capital campaign is going to be our priority. The good news is that our alumni are getting increasingly engaged. They are happy, they are proud, they are showing off their colors, and they are coming back to build their alma mater. This year, 18,000 alumni contributed $8.4 million to the university, a number that is larger than ever in our history. As if in competition, our staff, you all, you've taken this challenge too. Together, you have donated with passion and surpassed your own goal. Congratulations and thank you for that. We certainly appreciate your believing in your own institution. And what about the students and their generosity? Well, they are blazing a new trail. Over 15% of our May 2011 graduating class made a gift to the university at the time of their graduation. Diversifying revenue is critical, and we are looking at every possible avenue to leverage our strength. A good example is our robust construction program. Taking advantage of low construction cost and good credit market, we are building Tier 1 facilities for students and faculty. Since 2008, $219 million worth of projects have been completed. Another $219 million worth of projects are currently underway. An additional $200 million are in the design and financing phase. The ongoing and coming projects, you can see some of them, they include classroom and business building, stadium garage, health and biomedical sciences center, science teaching lab building, CERC additional build-out, Cougar Village 2, Cougar Place, West Dining Facility, Blaffer Museum renovation, UC renovation and expansion, multimodal garage, and yes, of course, the football stadium. No state funding unless it's specifically designated for construction. Let me repeat that. No state funding unless it's specifically designated for construction is being used for any of these projects. Despite challenges, I remain optimistic for the future of the University of Houston because our momentum is great, strong, our assets are tremendous. The city of Houston is a great asset and resource for us. A city with the largest population center in the United States, a city that is diverse and innovative, a city that is the energy capital of the world, a city that is home to the world's largest medical center, a city that has this unique can-do spirit, and a city that believes in the University of Houston. Of course, the great state of Texas is another asset. Texas is a state, and tell me how many there might be. Very, very rare. Texas is a state that values closing the gap, but it also recognizes the value of global competitiveness and therefore has funded the Tier 1 initiative. The greatest asset for us, however, is our people, you. Our world-class faculty, our dedicated staff, our passionate core of alumni, and our ever-energetic students. You are our most valued assets. Our twin goals of Tier 1 and student success are non-negotiable. We will find creative ways to keep the momentum. We will make hard choices, tough decisions. We will make them together, but we will make them. Today, I ask for your leadership, and I ask for your energy, the energy of each and every one of you. Why? Imagine a train going at a speed of 60, 70 miles per hour. To an observer, it would seem like the engine is pulling the entire train, all of the cars, all 20 of the cars. But in reality, the engine is only pulling the first car. The second car is pulled by the first car, the third by the second, and so on. It is the connection that passes the energy and pulls the next car. No matter where our vision comes from, where our engine is, we all are pulling each other in turn and moving ahead as a team. No matter what your role is, where your office is, what scope you are defined and given in your day-to-day activities, what department you belong to, you are a part of this train. And without your pulling, this train cannot move. Mahatma Gandhi, whose birthday was day before yesterday, he would have been 142 years old, he said, "A small body of spirits fired by an unquenchable faith in their mission can alter the course of history." It is our history, and we can make it. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the university and the country.